Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is thank God for a new day filled with new opportunities. Because every morning truly is a new opportunity. It's a blank page waiting to be written. A chance to start fresh, to choose who you want to be for today. Because you're not limited by what happened yesterday or how long things are taking. Each sunrise gives you the same question. Will you keep repeating your old story or step into a new one? One option isn't better or worse than the other. Sometimes there's growth in staying still long enough to hear yourself. And other times it's found in moving forward before you're even ready. And that's why I do my best to take my mornings seriously. Mornings are the quiet reminders that you can start again and again and again as long as you're breathing. You can move with intention or take time to slow down. You still have time to become who you're meant to be. Good morning and welcome to another vlog. Today I'm working from home. It's about 9:30 right now. Y'all saw me get ready, and then right at 8:59 I hopped on my laptop, responded to any Slack messages that might have been sent on Friday after I'd logged off. Just because I work on the East Coast, but you know, sometimes the SDRs are on the West Coast. If you don't know what I do for a living, I work in sales. I work in the tech industry specifically. I am a small business account executive. Just to give you a rundown of what I'm doing currently, I just looked at my calendar. For today, it's pretty blank, which I kind of like. I like to keep my Mondays focused on administrative work, getting a lot of calls in, planning out my week, my action plan. I also have my one-on-one with my manager on Monday, so it makes it easier for me to like set goals and figure out like what's going on. This week is also a really big conference week for my company, so I've also been sending out like gift cards and, you know, safe travel emails and swag and things of that nature just for my customers who are going to the event. I am not going to the event. It's all the way in California. Y'all know I love my digital planner. Usually on Sundays I try to plan my week ahead of time, but I've really been trying to be intentional and take things day by day. Sometimes when I plan my weeks ahead of time, I don't give myself enough room to pivot. Mondays and Fridays, those are the only days that I work from home, and I don't even work from home every Monday. I was supposed to have 3 external meetings, but the 2 others pushed to tomorrow. So I'm like, that's actually perfect, because if they would have stayed today, I would have got into the office. All in all, my calendar this week is pretty light. I feel like it often starts that way on my busiest weeks. Tomorrow's not really a light day. I've got like a lot of meetings, external meetings, about 4 external meetings tomorrow, and then 1 on Wednesday, and then just like some touch points and action items for Thursday and Friday, like administrative work. But I feel like that is gonna blow up and get busy, especially because once you have a conversation with somebody, depending on what the action items are, you might have another conversation with them 2 days later. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. But yeah, today is a work from home day in my life. You all never really get to work with me, so you know, I'm gonna try to check in. People often ask me when I say I work in tech sales, they're like, how did you get into that? And truly it was by not being afraid to pivot. So if you don't know this, I mention it in a lot of my other videos, but when Cole and I first moved to Atlanta, I got a role in staffing, was an account executive there, and getting paid based off whether or not somebody shows up to work, having my base salary only be a couple $1,000s higher than the poverty line was not gonna cut it for me. It wasn't gonna keep working for me. I was really depressed. I gained a lot of weight. I couldn't afford to feed myself properly, and like, my boyfriend was great, but mind you, he also works really long hours. Because he was new, there would be months at a time where he'd be gone for training. When he was gone, he'd send me money for groceries and things like that. But for the most part, I was still struggling just by myself. I could not live here on my own alone. Just want to be vulnerable and honest. Like, I really took a chance. Not only did I take a chance on my man, but I took a chance on myself to figure it the F out. Because one thing about me is I am going to figure something out. I am a competent woman. I have to remind myself. I've never been put in a situation where I have not been able to make lemonade out of lemons. And I just remember being like, I have to find a new job. Like, I was writing down a list of all the Fortune 500 companies. In my mind, I was thinking, I live in Atlanta. There are so many amazing opportunities. Why am I selling myself short? And I think I kept myself in that situation for a really long time. I dealt with a lot of microaggressions, a lot of just straight up like racism at that role. I was in the middle of Atlanta. I was in the middle of Buckhead. how could this be? How am I experiencing this in Atlanta, Georgia, the Black Mecca? As you know, a girl from Tennessee, I was used to it, but it was surprising. So that was God really telling me, girl, this is not for you. I've got bigger things planned for you. And so I applied in the business development role. I knew I didn't have any tech experience. So I was like, I'm not gonna shoot myself in the foot and miss out on an opportunity by being egotistical, by thinking, oh, I don't want to take a step down. I truly started over. I went from being an account executive working with 2 high-profile Fortune 50 companies to becoming a business development rep. I really clicked with the manager, and so I chose her team. Even though I took a title change, like demotion in terms of title, I earned 3 times the amount of money that I earned at my old job. 3x did. Got the new job, made 3x. I was able to pay down so much debt, and I am in a much better space than I was before. I still have a lot of financial goals that I'm working towards, still working on paying off all of my student loans. I'm really blessed. And then I worked my way from BDR up to account executive, small business account executive. I started this role in February of this year, and no, I didn't. Started this role in March of this year. If you all have any questions about how to get into tech or anything like that, you know, don't hesitate to ask. I'll do the best of my abilities to answer, but I think that 80% of it is believing in yourself and being confident about your abilities. When I meet with BDRs and they're like, oh, like, what can I do to get promoted? Like, how did you do this? Especially because I'm a core account executive and not on like the analytics division anymore. So they're like, oh, how did you get visibility? Because most of the time, no offense, we weren't thinking about you all. Nobody really thinks about you all on the analytics side. I was like, I know. So I made myself seen. But also, I did not believe for 1 second that there was anything about that role that I could not handle or that I could not do. And I didn't stress about it because if I didn't know how, I would figure it out. And that's part of my personal brand. If I don't know something, I'll figure it out. When people ask questions in our team channel, I am always one of the first people to give an answer. I pride myself on being resourceful and competency is one of my core values. I have to be really patient, and part of it is that Virgo in me, and I was raised by a Capricorn, but I have to be really patient with people because I realize that not everybody is at the same competency level. Also, going on a tangent, but I want to be an individual contributor for the rest of my career. When I'm in corporate, I will be happy climbing the corporate ladder, working in sales. Eventually, I'd love to have my own business, to be my own boss, be a CEO. That's ultimately my goal, but I don't want to be a people manager. The concept of getting managed or your bonus or paid or whatever based on other people's performances, doesn't sound like me. I'm also very type A. I know what my competency level is at. I know where my baseline is for my skills. I'm fully aware of what my strengths and my weaknesses are. I know how to plan for me, and I know how to manage me. I know what motivates me. I know what demotivates me. And I know how to communicate that. For somebody else, I don't know if I would be as good, especially if I don't know, I felt like my team was underperforming or anything like that. I just know I would not want to be a manager. Maybe one day, but in terms of my maturity level at 27, I am not there yet. I also turned 27 on September 10th. I wasn't super excited about it. I made some TikTok videos. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. I made a new Instagram. I wasn't super excited about it and coming to terms with it more and more. But yeah, I fully rambled up. Okay, embarrassingly enough, my leg has fallen asleep. I keep one of these element packets in my desk always. We keep them in the kitchen under this drawer, but if I don't save some for myself, I know that Cole will probably get to them before I can even get to one, just because he does more strenuous. I don't know, hot yoga is pretty strenuous, but he is better about staying hydrated than I am. I'll give him that. So I keep one of these in my desk when I know I'm getting dehydrated. I love the mango chili flavor. This is not sponsored at all. The Element doesn't even know who I am. They will one day. Period. Anywho, the mango chili is my favorite. I just dropped one of these bad boys in here. And it's not instant hydration, but what I can tell you is that like my body feels a huge difference after I drink a whole thing of water with one of those in it, especially when I'm traveling. When we go out of the country, I always take a bunch of these. Oh, hold on. I get so dehydrated when all you're drinking is wine or liquor, you know, depending on what country you're in. My body gets so dehydrated. I got the gnarliest Charlie horses when we were in Italy in the middle of the night. I was waking up hollering, hooting and hollering and writhing around the bed like a maniac. Like Cole thought I was like getting attacked or I was possessed by a demon. And I was so grateful that I ended up packing these. I forgot that I had packed them, and the next morning after it happened, the first time I found some. And so I just made sure that I had a big thing of water and put 1 or 2 of those in it and had it a couple times a day. And then I stopped getting Charlie horses because we were there for 10 days. So I had to figure something out. I think y'all saw me first try it when we went to New York. My leg is asleep. And that also probably means that I need some protein. So probably make myself like a hard-boiled egg or something. I usually don't eat breakfast throughout the week. Hailey Bieber really did her big one with Rhode. This Rhode Peptide lip treatment, I love it. It keeps my lips so hydrated for such a long period of time without feeling too sticky. And I really love my topicals as well. Y'all know I'm a topicals girly. I don't like how she ate their nachos, or she reheated their nachos, whatever the kids are saying, with the under eye masks, but it is what it is. I will say though that I do like this peptide treatment more than my topicals lip gloss situation. It's not really a gloss, they call it something else, but that one's really sticky and I feel like I can only wear it at night before I go to bed. This one I can put on throughout the day, which is nice. There we go. But yeah, I really like the, oh, I didn't tell you all this, but last night I made homemade hot chocolate. I'm not about to do that again. While I have a few minutes before my meeting, I am going to take the dishes out of the dishwasher and then put the dishes from when I made eggs into the dishwasher and just kind of decompress for, where's my lip gloss? I am so fearful that my manager is gonna make me raise my forecast. He's gonna see how much pipeline I have and be like, yeah, Jasmine, you need to up this by 10 grand. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it can be. It can be. You're not a salesperson. Basically, your forecast is how much you expect to close this month. And your pipeline is how many opportunities that you are going after this month. So I have quite a few opportunities that I'm going after this month. My pipeline is what he reports to his leadership too. So he has a forecast that he gives to his leadership. His leadership has a forecast, so on and so forth, all the way up the chain. Why I like sales though, because it's kind of got that entrepreneurial spirit with like low stakes, low risk, I guess. Kind of a lot of risk, but whatever. Not as much risk as opening your own business. Anywho, I run a very lean pipe and I run a very lean forecast. So I don't like to over forecast. I don't like to over project on my pipeline because I feel like the more you put in, the more eyes are going to be on you, especially because it's the last month of our quarter. So that's, you know, kind of nerve-wracking to me. And then also I would rather be super realistic. So they say like if it has a 50 to 60% chance of closing, forecast it. I prefer if it has an 80% chance of closing, 70 to 80% chance of closing in my mind, then I'll pipe it and I'll forecast it for the month. And my manager and I, he's like, you got to get better about it because nobody's going to yell at you. And nobody has ever yelled at me. Like, for the most part, I've never gotten in trouble because something doesn't close. Usually if something doesn't close, it's not your fault. You've, you know, exhausted all avenues. You can't force somebody to sign a DocuSign. In my mind, it just makes more sense. Like, wouldn't it be nice for me to just close all the things that I said I was going to close? And whatever's extra, if I can pull in some stuff from November or if I can pull in some stuff from, you know, whatever, wouldn't it be nice, you know, to have a little surprise of more? But it's like, no, you want to run an accurate forecast. So I typically run lean. I'm trying to be better about that. So yeah, but I have a strong feeling he's going to be like, you need to up your forecast by 10K. There is a possibility that he's going to tell me to up it by 20 grand. So we will see how that goes. But I have a really cool manager. My boyfriend works in finance, and today is a holiday, Columbus Day or National Indigenous Peoples Day now. So he has the day off. So he's been at the gym. He woke up later than me. He's been at the gym, and then he offered to pick me up something to eat. I have my forecast call in 30 minutes, and then I have a meeting after that. But then I'm pretty much good. After that, I just have some administrative tasks, but hopefully he gets here so I can either eat before or like during my forecast call, because I am really hungry today. I'm not sure why.